Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the Doc of Detox show. Today's show is called The Domino Effect of Unconscious Living. Life and death begin in the colon, so says the Royal Society of Medicine, who did a major study to conclude that a dysfunctional large intestine is responsible for 85% of all illness. Think about that. 85% of all illness, your large intestine, that what you call the colon, that most of us never even think about. But in my opinion, I believe with almost 40 years in chronic healthcare that it's 100%. I truly believe this. On a physical level, I believe it's closer to 100%. The large intestine may be at the end of the digestive tract, but it's the first domino to fall, and it's known as the second brain for a good reason, because the health of your intestinal bacteria dictates the strength of your immune system, your mood, and your energy level. Who would have ever thought that what the medical system continues to attack with antibiotics and what the majority of the population unconsciously allows to hang down and out holds the key to life itself? So let's see what happens when you mistreat your body's assembly line of life and its major immune system like a cesspool instead of nature's natural life-giving, life-saving organ. Here's some food for thought. Did you know that you are made up of 50 trillion cells, but you have 500 trillion bacteria? You are, in essence, a walking, talking glob of bacterial intelligence, and your large intestine is life control central. Let's talk about the most important highway that you will ever travel in your life that goes straight down the middle of your body, and it is the only part of you that's open to the outside world. Your digestive tract begins at your mouth, this being the front door, and then travels down the esophagus to the stomach and then into the small intestine, which is approximately 22 feet long. It then continues to the large intestine, which is 5 to 7 feet long. In total, we are looking at 30 feet of highway. That's quite a long distance for food to travel, even when it's whole plant-based, combined properly, and chewed thoroughly in a calm and peaceful state. Look, every component along this highway, known as your digestive tract, must digest and assimilate the nutrients in their proper order and take the proper time sequence for this process to be successful, not unlike any other assembly line. The digestion process is a work of art regarding its simplicity and effectiveness. But understand that improper eating and negative emotions can and will derail this life-saving, life-giving process off course, causing inflammation, pain, and discomfort throughout your whole body. Most people are only conscious of the first 4 inches, just the first 4 inches of this delicate process being the mouth. We have become unconsciously addicted to the chemicals, disregarding the taste and nutritional value of the food. We are trading 4 inches of perceived pleasure, followed by 30 feet of what? Digestion? No, indigestion, heartburn, gas, bloating, ulcers, angina, Crohn's disease, leaky gut, pain, inflammation, constipation, diarrhea, colitis, cancer, and hemorrhoids, just to name a few symptoms that have been unleashed because of the domino effect of unconscious living. Unfortunately, when it comes to food selection, important health concerns such as nutritional value, quality, freshness, the degree of toxic chemicals, and digestive ability all take a back seat to the following factors such as advertising and brainwashing. The unconscious programming has not just created a bloody mess, but one heck of a smell from one end to the other end of most people's bodies. Your large intestine has now gone from being your body's greatest friend and ally to becoming a breeding ground for parasitical attack and disease. Welcome to the family curse of unconscious living, handed down by well-meaning family members and driven by corporate America because of their insatiable appetite to harvest you and your family's health one piece at a time for their fat bottom line. Understand that chemically addicted taste buds and an addicted brain will always cause a distorted shape to your body inside and out. Too often in today's society, the foods we consume simply end up sitting too long and then end up putrefying in our digestive tract, with the large intestine taking the beating, which in turn unleashes the domino effect of toxic poisons and nauseous gas into that beautiful body of yours. When food enters the body already dead and toxic, meaning no or very little nutritional force, understand this: you are what you eat. Yes, you become what you eat, drink, and think. It's as simple as that. Our Creator did not complicate or create something inferior. Systems and corporations have made us feel this way about ourselves by force-feeding us their toxic, manipulated, controlling, dysfunctional beliefs. Welcome to the harvest. That would be you. Understand, live foods breed life, whereas dead foods breed, well, you get the picture. Your digestive tract is a 30-foot journey. The front door is your mouth. The back door is your rectum. What happens between your mouth and your rectum is the deciding factor on how well and how long you will live. The first rule to eating and emotions is you never eat when you are upset. The second rule is when you're preparing your food, put your heart into it. Make what you love. Love what you make because it will become part of you. The third rule is never use the dinner table for a place to discuss family problems. The fourth rule is stay calm and stay connected to your lion heart breathing. The fifth rule is bless your food and give gratitude, knowing that whatever you're eating has given its life for you, and that the closer it is to nature, the healthier and happier you will be. The health of your food will depend on who and how it was treated. The fourth rule is chew your food so well that you are drinking your solids and chewing your liquids. The fifth rule is never eat late at night. The sixth rule is do not mistake thirst, tiredness, or being bored as hunger. The seventh rule is do not use eating as a way to suppress your emotions. The eighth rule is digest the brave heart 12 self-loving steps each day for the perfect day, every day of your life. Look, when the majority of the population is backing up and piling up all their emotions and their physical waste, this is an unconscious, subconscious, self-hate, self-destruct program that will tear the body apart from the inside out, starting from the bottom up. This condition that the majority have learned to accept as a normal way of life over time will cause the body's most important muscle, your large intestine, to slowly lose its tone and become flaccid. This will lead to stagnation, putrefaction, and eventually rotting of the tissues, which will eventually create disease in the body's weakest link. We are unknowingly attacking and creating disease with our day-to-day lifestyles. I mean, you can see this everywhere. This is evident everywhere. Go to the mall, go to the grocery store, walk on the street, look in your own house, take a look at your family, take a look at your friends. We need to wake up. In health, we call this condition where we get so many diseases, there's like 147 of them, they're called autoimmune disease, which means your body is attacking itself, which means you are letting your body attack yourself, or I would say, even to be more correct, you are attacking yourself unconsciously. Look it. The fix is in, or should I say your health is headed down and out, just like your large intestine. When your abdominal muscles become weaker and begin to lack tone, both internally and externally, due to this intestinal backup, your lower back muscles will tighten up and go into protection, otherwise chronic spasm. We've all felt this. We all end up running to the chiropractor, massage therapist, or some other therapist, or acupuncture. But understand something. This is due to your lower back's futile efforts to compensate for the lack of tone in your abdominal area known as your core. The back muscles must pick up the slack for the intestines and the abdominal muscles, which are now in a state of coma. Do you realize that your abdomen, otherwise your core, does all the lifting from getting you out of bed, off the toilet, in the car, picking your children up, you name it. Without a healthy toned tummy, we are going to get ourselves into big trouble, or we already are. We need things like tummy love and daily cleansing tea each and every day. Because guess what? Like I told you before, your bacteria, or good bacteria, should I say, will dictate your health. But as we can see, with about 90% of the population, their large intestine is falling down and out or just sticking out, which causes what? It causes decreased circulation in the whole pelvic region. This is where your belt is no longer visible and you can't even tell if your shoes are tied. This will severely reduce circulation to this part of the body, and it will affect the ovaries, the uterus, the bladder, the prostate, and the testicles, and cause a detour when it comes to proper bowel movements, urination, and let's not forget about our sex drive. Most people do not understand by the time they reach the age of 35 or 40, their pelvic region is overburdened with inflammation, scar tissue formation, displaced calcium that has been taken from the bones because of all this waste entering the bloodstream, creating acidity that must be buffered down. Because understand something, no matter if you've got osteopenia or severe osteoporosis, that calcium is not gone from your body. It's been displaced into joints, tissues, and organs. How would you like to get it back? That's what we do. That's what we can do for you. And understand something. If this inflammation, continues, then you're going to go to mutation. Look, when your large intestine acts up, your pelvic girdle is going to be inflamed and in trouble. Plus, everything below this intestinal backup, such as your hips, your legs, and feet, will experience swelling, otherwise water retention, due to chronic inflammation. What about hip replacement? What about knee replacement? Does it have to happen? What about joint fusion of the spine? Does it need to happen? No, it does not. Look, other symptoms that you may experience with intestinal backup are pain, achy joints, gout, poor healing, varicose veins, hip and knee replacement, like I just said. And what about neuropathy, which, by the way, can all be reversed when you take your power back with Wolfe Deep Tissue and the Perfect Day Diet? We prove it every day, and we've proved it already with tens of thousands of people. Do you actually believe that there hasn't been people in your condition, or even worse, that haven't reversed their body? Listen to me. God does not make broken products. Okay? Mankind is not kind because mankind has downloaded programs to make you feel like you're a broken product when you're not. But remember something. What you think about is what you become. So if you believe you're broken, if you believe the body doesn't heal, if you believe your creator has left you and forgotten about you, then that's where you're going to be. Look, if your core, otherwise your abdominal and pelvic area, is not toned and cleansed daily with gentle, loving steps, life-threatening conditions from the bottom of your toes to the top of your eyes will pop up. How can something so obvious and so debilitating be commonplace? People's intestines are falling out, falling down, and blowing up everywhere. Tell me they're not. How do you look? How do you feel right now? Look, you have a choice to explode, implode, or learn how to dump this toxic load by utilizing the Perfect Day Guide, Fasting for Perfect Health Guide, and the Brave Heart Way Guide in the Doc of Detox library. It's yours for the learning, so learn or burn. Hey, it's your choice right now. And now you do have a choice. Most people will never have a choice. We're just told we have a choice, but do we really? We just told that we have freedom, but do we really? You don't have freedom until you have peace of mind. Understand that if you are unable to process, otherwise digest, and eliminate negative emotions, you will cause issues in those tissues. So, what do you think happens when the large intestine backs up and becomes a storage shed for toxic waste and negative emotions? If this toxic waste and negative emotion cannot be eliminated effectively, then it must be stored until you have life-enhancing tools to be able to process this and make peace with yourself. Look at the body will lock it down and wall it off, okay? This physical or emotional toxicity for your own protection by creating excessive mucus, crystallization, internal scar tissue formation, and calcification until the host, being you, awakens to become the driving force in this relationship called life. When it comes to a weak core, otherwise a colon in coma, your body will absorb the water from the stagnant waste and compact it in and along the walls of the large intestine known as hostras, otherwise outpoachings. Look at layer upon layer of dehydrated fecal waste will build up along the walls of your large intestine, creating an accumulating wallpaper effect. This toxic waste will gradually leak into the bloodstream due to leaky gut, causing a toxic buildup in your bloodstream. This condition is known as toxemia, otherwise acidosis, which means dirty blood, which causes diseases to all parts of your body because the domino effect of unconscious living will go everywhere and it will ravage all organs, tissues, and joints. Imagine a garbage truck working all day. Where does the garbage truck go? Each truck has a compactor. Your body is very similar. If it cannot eliminate the fecal waste, it dehydrates it and stores the waste in the lining of the bowel pockets of your large intestine until you realize, otherwise awaken, to the fact that you must become the master of your own waistline. At this moment, I am treating and coaching 5 different people with colon cancer. You might think that's a lot, but you have to understand something. When you learn how to unleash your God-given right to heal, okay? Because what do? We give you back your power. We give you the keys to unlock the authentic you, the practitioner within you. We must learn to let go, to forgive, to let ourselves and others off the hook. All thoughts have energy, and energy creates things. Thought form creates physical form. When you can't let go, otherwise, when you cannot go, that would be a constipated thought, which will cause your tissues to rot. Hello, bowel cancer. Until you let go emotionally, you will never let go physically. You're not a garbage truck. You're a creation of beauty. So treat yourself that way. Because I'll tell you right now, whether down on the farm or down in your belly, if you don't clean it out, it's going to get awful smelly, right from the tip of your toes to the tip of your nose. So, do you suffer from persistent bad breath? If you do, it's not because of what you ate yesterday. It is a result of what you have eaten days, weeks, months, and even years before. Hot gases rise from your large intestine, and where do they go? They end up in your mouth. Hey, did you ever sleep with someone and they rolled over and they breathed on you and you just went, whoa, honey, please, please, let's not kiss just yet, because it actually smelled like somebody had gone to the bathroom in their mouth? This unpleasant taste and smell is the true cause of plaque formation on your teeth due to the years of toxic waste buildup down below within your large intestine. You need to understand something. You've got your own private manure pile there, and hot air rises. Have you never seen a gas hot air balloon? Well, it rises, doesn't it? Well, what do you think gas does? All right? For those of you who suffer from gum disease, just know the root cause is at the back door. Something your dentist forgot to tell you. Oops. But hey, But the truth is, your dentist may not even been taught the true cause of gum disease, because this would undermine the bottom line of profits for the dental association. Understand that colon cancer is on the rise, and so is gum disease. It is estimated that about 1 in 23 people will suffer with colon cancer in their lifetime. Where there's smoke, there's usually fire, right? And this time it's hot and stinky. Look at, eat all the mints you want. Use the toothpaste, the mouthwash. Oh yeah, it'll provide a temporary fix, which masks the symptoms, but it never will resolve the root cause, will it? Which is bowel rot, which creates tooth rot. Why do people use underarm deodorant and perfumes? The main reason is to camouflage unpleasant body odor. The real cure is gentle daily cleansing of the large intestine, thus preventing and eliminating the toxic waste buildup within your lymph system and sweat glands. That's right. You back up so much waste in your large intestine for so long, your lymph system cannot dump its toxins into the large intestine. So now, and we know that blood is more like liquid and lymph is like molasses. And as soon as it becomes toxic, it doesn't move very well. So listen, let's get to the root cause and quit being such a stinker. Take a minute and feel underneath your armpits. Does it feel puffy, like a fat buildup? What this is severely congested lymph nodes from backed up waste in your intestines, not allowing your lymph to drain. Just because there is traffic coming into the city does not mean it's not backed up for miles and miles. No other organ in your body will become toxic unless your large intestine becomes a toxic bomb. Why is it that young children do not smell? Why does the strength of body odor increase as we age? The answer is the following. The more waste we have and the older it is, the worse it's going to smell. As a result, we're a stinking mess. In an attempt to mask unpleasant odors emitting from the body, we have turned to $1 billion business for guidance, the toiletry industry, where we add more chemicals to an already toxic-ridden body. Look, it is important to note that almost all bathroom toiletries and perfumes are toxic and harmful to your body. Even some of the so-called natural products are questionable. Underarm deodorants such as antiperspirants with aluminum shut down the sweat glands, contributing to chronic lymph conditions and, you better realize this, breast cancer. Yeah. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is you're the answer to breast cancer. Okay, so you can run for it and jump for it, but if you don't go for it on a personal level and learn how to master your body, your life, then it's going off a cliff. Because when you're running and jumping for cancer, just remember something. They're telling you you're running for the cure because they don't have it and they're never going to find it. We have all been intentionally programmed to tell our bodies to shut up and shut down. Instead, we must lovingly listen to our body because it is telling you something's wrong. It loves you. Look, pain, inflammation, swelling, crystallization, internal scar tissue formation, and let's not forget calcification of our joints, tissues, and organs are all symptoms of a dysfunctional relationship with your body that all begin with the first domino being inflammation. Look, your emotions and symptoms are your body's GPS. Understand this. Your body loves you and your life depends on these symptoms to guide you and bring you back to alignment, back to love, back to self-love, self-care. Listen, having a loving relationship with yourself must come first and foremost if you wish to create the perfect day for an amazing life. So gently cleanse each and every day. Why let it pile up? Remain the sweet smelling beauty that you are. And understand something. I get it. You've been programmed to destroy self-care, self-love. But understand something. If I wanted to control someone, isn't that what I would do? So if you want to take your control, your power back, you might want to heed these words that I'm telling you here today, right now. Just because This might be the first time you've ever heard it, or maybe these two statements make you feel uncomfortable. Doesn't make them wrong. I'll tell you what makes it wrong: when the majority of the population can't get it right, and you're part of the majority. Look, to take our lives back, we have to do just even one step forward. To do this, we must get media out of our lives. Do not get consumed by these savvy marketers and their BS, otherwise dysfunctional belief systems. Remember what they want, who they are, and who and what they work for. Remember who you are and what do you really want. What do you really want? Do you sit down and ask yourself what you really want? Well, don't you want a happy, healthy, peaceful, energetic life? And why aren't you allowing yourself to have that? Well, I'll tell you why: because you're programmed not to. You need to replace dysfunctional beliefs and take your life back, or better still, why don't you just stop giving it away and become conscious? Why don't you break free from the domino effect of unconscious living? Look at, all I can say is welcome to the domino effect of unconscious living. I'm going to tell you a true story about what happens to us when we do not have access to self-empowering tools to master our own mind, our own body, and our own God-given life. Where the mind goes, remember, where the mind goes, the body must follow. For the majority, they do not have authentic thinking. They have stinking thinking, which are dysfunctional beliefs handed down by a corrupt and contaminated society that wish to rule and school our health for their bottom line. You know, some people will say, why does he have to go on about it? Well, I need you to understand that your best friend is you. The only one and the only practitioner that will heal you is you. And there can only be one master in your life, and that must be you. Have you ever thought that if one thing hadn't happened, a whole set of things never would have either? Like dominoes in time, a single emotional event, repeated enough, kicked off an unstoppable series of events that gained momentum and spun your physical and emotional life out of control. And nothing was ever the same again. Doesn't that sound like the majority of the population? The chances of this sounding like you are pretty close, aren't they? Once this domino effect of unconscious living kicks in from the dysfunctional belief systems you have been unknowingly running for years, you will wish you could have stopped it. Well, guess what? I'm going to show you how to stop it today. This is something that is not talked about because this is the goose that laid the golden egg for the medical and the pharmaceutical corporations and everyone else that focuses on mistreating you instead of training you on how to release the unseen practitioner from within. That would be you. That would be the authentic you. That would be the healer you. So I need you to get this. With all the brilliant minds in natural health and the countless medical breakthroughs, 60% of the population is obese. And even if they're not obese, 80% of the population look like they have a tire wrapped around their waistline, which is their large intestine falling down and out because nobody truly cares for you. You need to care for you. So let's begin our journey called the domino effect of unconscious living. As I mentioned earlier, toxemia, which is also known as dirty blood, is caused by a backup of stagnant fecal waste and buried emotion in your large intestine. What a better place to hide undealt with, unwanted emotion than in your poop. You know, it's just a matter of time that this stagnant toxic fecal waste and the parasites that it breeds in your large intestine will invade your bloodstream and then the rest of your body. This toxic spillover into your circulatory system opens a door of infection and inflammation to the rest of your tissues, organs, and joints. It follows that if the large intestine is operating properly, you wouldn't absorb this toxic fecal waste or these parasitic invaders. Unfortunately, this is not the case with most of the population and those we love because of a condition known as leaky gut. And I hope you realize that over 90% of the population has leaky gut. And also, we continue to be programmed with not just incorrect information, but out and out lies when it comes to caring and loving and caring for our bodies. We have been given a manual rooted in deception created by the systems that we follow and live our lives by. This so-called healthy government-approved lifestyle will give you a lifetime of pain and suffering on an emotional and physical level because it is not only nutrient deficient, but deficient in love and caring. We are what we eat. We are what we think. We must put an end to stinking thinking. It is hard to measure misery when everyone you know is in the same bloody mess. When your bloodstream becomes overburdened by these deadly toxic poisons and lacks essential nutrients to support life, look, acidosis is the only result. When your blood becomes overburdened and congested with toxins, your liver is then called into action to help filter out these toxins from an unhealthy bloodstream. Your bloodstream is the most critically buffered system of your body, far more sensitive than any other. Your arterial blood must maintain a slightly alkaline pH. Look, arterial blood pH is 7.35 to 7.41. The ideal pH of arterial blood is 7.41. A person is considered to have acidosis when the pH of the blood is 6.8 to 7.24. A blood pH below 7 can lead to a coma and even death due to severe acidosis. Under 6.8 pH, death comes a-knockin'. pH is like a dimmer switch, and only you hold the power to turn it up or to turn it down. When we are dealing with a dysfunctional large intestine, the liver must pick up the slack and work overtime to maintain the sensitive pH balance needed in your bloodstream. Your liver already performs over 500 different metabolic functions for your body, but now it must filter the toxic waste that the large intestine is continually spilling over into the bloodstream. Look, it's only a matter of time that the liver becomes inflamed and exhausted. The liver screams to the large intestine, "I can't believe this. Sewage disposal is your job. Are you trying to deplete me of my energy and poison this beautiful body?" "No, of course not," replies the large intestine. "I can't do my job. My master has been made to believe that she can eat glicky, sticky, gooey, processed, fried, chemical-laden, new, improved GMO food, and I don't think things are going to change anytime soon because she's an emotional mess. She's up and down like her weight, and her diet is a riot. She watches too much TV, gets her health tips from magazines and her friends who know just as much as she does about health and emotions. My master keeps on talking about new improved, but I never get to see it, much less feel it. Now I've got 12 pounds of toxic fecal waste stuck to my walls. I've lost all my muscle tone and I'm pooped out. Please forgive her. She knows not what she does. I believe it's called the family curse. I understand, my dear friend, says the liver, and I realize the responsibility must and always falls back to our master. Does our master not know that gentle daily cleansing, structured water, and whole plant-based nutrition, and the Braveheart Way, 12 self-loving steps, are the keys to set all of us free from this pain and misery? Well, the word around the body is she thinks all this pain and inflammation is normal and it's out of her control. The colon suddenly bursts out in a chuckle and says, "I'll show her what out of control is when she has diarrhea and I turn her blue eyes brown to help turn her health around." The liver being a team player, continues to work overtime until it becomes chronically fatigued. In turn, the owner of the body starts experiencing chronic fatigue. Go figure. The domino effect in action. So now the master has aches, pains, and inflammation throughout her whole body. So being the robot that she has been programmed for, off to the doctor she goes, because that's all she knows. The doctor says you're doing fine for a person of your age. He adds that chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, which means pain in the muscles, are average and quite ordinary for a woman your age. So he writes her a prescription to numb her senses. Thanks a lot, doc. He may consider her an average person, but the symptoms inside her body are anything but normal. But then, he was never trained in the laws of nature. When doctors are taught that pain is the enemy, then symptoms become simple, fast money makers for big pharma, wouldn't you say? You will no longer be a statistic when you learn the game and change the rules. Pain, inflammation, and swelling is your GPS letting you know that your relationship with your body is not aligned with self-love, which creates self-care, the only true health care. Instead of society drugging her to shut her down and shut her up, why don't they just get their hands out of her pockets and focus on her beliefs and her bowels? I will tell you why, because getting to the cause takes caring. Being involved does not mean caring. Why don't they just come from their heart and find out why she's truly hurting? She's a human being. Treat her like one. Roughly 10 million Americans have fibromyalgia. This means that 4 out of 5 people, or 8% of the entire population, suffers from fibromyalgia. The second most common musculoskeletal ailment after osteoarthritis. Look, 75 to 90% of fibromyalgia patients are female because women are the canary in the coal mine. Fibromyalgia is acidosis on the move, and it can create internal scar tissue formation, crystallization, and calcification in every muscle, joint, and organ it comes in contact with. You're getting eaten alive from the inside out. And understand something. Fibromyalgia just means pain in your muscle fibers. It's not a disease. It's a symptom. And if you understand it's a symptom, then maybe we could go and find the true cause. Because fibromyalgia, like I said, is just a symptom of a poorly managed body, physically and emotionally. I hurt all over. Life hurts all over. Understand, perception is everything. You are what you focus on. And to reinforce this dysfunctional belief that we are helpless and hopeless when it comes to caring for ourselves, the medical system lowers its definition of good health every few years to suit the majority. Go figure. Because why? Oh, because majority rules. And we call majority normal, even though the majority of the population is in pain and suffering, and most have a disease. Look, liver disease due to toxicity is becoming more and more common because of our increased exposure to an inflammatory lifestyle due to dysfunctional beliefs emotionally and physically. Continual inflammation in the liver will cause a fatty liver. Come on. You know what? There is so many people coming into me with fatty livers right now, and I'm going to explain why. Okay? So understand, continual inflammation in the liver will cause a fatty liver, which will damage the liver and create internal scar tissue, which will eventually lead to liver failure if left unchecked by the master of the body. That would be you. This fatty inflamed liver condition created by a sluggish large intestine will never improve as long as the domino effect of unconscious living continues. The liver plays a crucial role in the detoxification of the body by cleansing the blood of toxic chemicals. Harmful toxic substances that enter the bloodstream are broken down and metabolized by the liver into water-soluble form. Made harmless, they now can be flushed out of the body through the large intestine or the kidneys. Look, all health problems start off as something small, but for most, they will turn out to be your worst nightmare because we all have turned our backs on nature's law and embraced man's rules. You know what must be done? Take your power back. But first, you must stop giving it away. Look at symptoms of liver toxicity may be acute, severe, and very noticeable, or come on gradually as a chronic problem. It is possible for non-severe liver toxicity to cause chronic conditions such as fatigue, depression, mental illness, headaches, skin conditions, low libido, of course, fibromyalgia, and yes, even cancer. Skin disorders often develop because of the toxins flooding the bloodstream. As they cannot be efficiently detoxified by the liver fast enough, the skin must take them on. Since the blood cannot be cleansed at this rate, excess toxins are then released as a safety valve through the skin to protect vital organs and bones, thus causing an array of skin disorders from eczema to skin cancer. Look, when it comes to skin conditions, age makes no difference. When it comes to toxemia, age makes no difference. Your skin is the mirror to your large intestine. How's yours looking? Allergies are another symptom of a dysfunctional large intestine that has overburdened the liver, causing liver toxicity. Have you ever noticed that most of the population have one or more allergies today? A liver that is overwhelmed with toxicity will malfunction and will not be able to effectively break down any new toxins. This will create a hypersensitivity to the external environment, chemicals, and foods ingested. Foods that were once digested with ease will now turn on you. If your body cannot process it, then it becomes a poison. In other words, you are becoming allergic to life because of a compromised immune system. 60 million people now suffer with seasonal allergies. A large percentage of these are children. This is the worst it has been in history. Go figure. Check your children's bowels and check your beliefs, mom and dad, and get to the root cause of this problem. Their little bowels. Fatigue, loss of appetite, nausea, abdominal pain, and vomiting are also symptoms of a toxic liver. Palpation of the liver is a method used by practitioners to check whether there is tenderness or enlargement of the liver. Do not confuse trapped gas caught in the upper right side of the large intestine for gallbladder or liver problems. You're just having a fart attack. That's all. Pull the cork out by gentle cleansing each and every day to create that perfect day. Let's talk about ammonia. Rising levels of ammonia in the blood is another symptom of a toxic liver. Ammonia is a byproduct of mainly animal protein being broken down by bacteria in your intestines. This ammonia problem is resolved by reducing emotional stress, proper food combining, better food choices, reducing animal protein, drinking structured water, but first and foremost, drinking enough structured water, and also adding daily cleansing tea to eliminate the stagnant putrefaction that's in your large intestine. So, let's get back to our story. So now the liver must do much more than its share of cleansing because of the toxic spillover caused by a backup of a lethargic large intestine, which is now, by the way, falling into a coma. When this happens, the healthy gut-brain connection turns bad, like the good bacteria have done, and we enter into a severe communication breakdown, causing conflict between your gut, otherwise your large intestine, and the brain. The gut bacteria speak to the brain 9 times every 1 time the brain speaks to the gut. But when the large intestine was clean and healthy, these were 9 healthy messages instructing the brain what to do. Now that the good bacteria have gone rogue, the messages are also bad, which releases bad chemicals and hormones, which create bad moods, making you crave bad foods, which just adds more inflammation, scar tissue formation, calcification, and let's not forget mutation for 50% of the nation. That's right, because 50% of the nation are going to experience cancer in their lifetime. Talk about the domino effect of unconscious living. This all stems from us unknowingly downloading dysfunctional beliefs, which are meant to create self-hate, pain body programs. How's that working for you? These dysfunctional programs fatten the bottom line for chemical-laden processed food corporations that eventually lead to greater profits for Big Pharma due to the domino effect of unconscious eating. This program is working because Big Pharma is increasing its sales by 20% every year within North America. And guess what? As North Americans, we're consuming 50% of the prescription drugs worldwide. Due to this constipation, we've become a zombie nation, drugged up and dumbed down. The more your body becomes overburdened with toxins, the more energy blocks will be experienced on an emotional and physical level. What do you think is one of the major side effects when the liver is overloaded with toxins? The liver is no longer capable of burning body fat efficiently or ridding the body of these excess toxins. These toxins now must be stored in fat cells to protect the body, so your body goes into fat cell production protection mode to reduce this toxic load. This is a safety mechanism that will continue until the master awakens the large intestine from its coma. Hello, weight gain. Hello, yo-yo diets. Hello, yo-yo emotions. Let me say this another way. When the body is overloaded with emotional stress and toxic waste, it transfers its energy away from burning calories and redirects the energy to taking the toxic burden off the body by creating a toxic storage dump made from fat cells. Welcome to Fat and 40, the beer belly, the mid-ridge bulge, the spare tire, and let us not forget the love handles. Understand, this has to happen. Toxins must be taken as far away as possible from vital organs. Look it's called fat, and that's that. The liver now must call on a neighbor for help. The next in line in the domino effect of unconscious living is the kidneys. The kidneys aren't so happy about taking on this extra burden either. They've already felt the added pressure both physically and chemically from the large intestine for years. Your kidneys sit just behind the large intestine, which has become a cesspool of leaking toxic waste. The kidneys scream out, "Great, now I'm going to get kidney stones," which are calcium deposits, internal scar tissue from the inflammation and crystallization from all of this, because now I'm taking on all this acidic waste. I'm already on fire because the master of this body hardly drinks any water, and it's definitely not structured water. You pee me off. My job is to purify body fluids. We're not meant to take on all these bowel and liver toxins. What are these poisons? Well, I can tell you this much, the liver states. They're not toxins occurring from normal metabolism. These are chemicals and toxic waste from the large intestine that should have never entered my master's mouth in the first place. What was she thinking? She wasn't. She's been programmed. Welcome to a new improved. I demand a clear answer, not a toxic one, and don't kid me, states the kidney. The liver answers back. Nothing's clear anymore, especially our body fluids. I've done my best. You can talk to the large intestine, but I doubt he will even answer. He's been down and out and in a coma now for some time. The kidneys then shout back. Easy for you to say. You can still function with only 25% of your liver and rehabilitate much easier than I can. Once I get into trouble, and I'm in big trouble, and it usually just goes from bad to worse. Call me a worrywart, but I don't want to end up on life support, otherwise dialysis. I'm too young to die. The kidneys reluctantly must now carry this acid torch, and they're burning mad with inflammation. Emotions are running high. They do their best, but as the months go by, chronic lower back pain, kidney inflammation, and continual bladder infection sets in due to the overload of toxic waste. Other warning signs of the domino effect are beginning to show up from the overworked kidneys, such as kidney stones, sweaty palms, puffiness under the eyes, and frequent urination with little volume. Internal scar tissue, crystallization, and calcification are now forming in the kidney tissues due to severe acidosis. And last but not least, excess weight gain around the kidney region. Most people know these as love handles, and by the way, they're not loving them. Look at fat cells must be created to store toxic acidity, or someone may have an unexpected trip to the hospital with kidney failure. The kidneys can no longer take on the brunt of this cesspool from the large intestine. The master of the body is now waking up throughout the night in a cold sweat from dialysis nightmares. From here, the next domino falls into the holding tank known as the bladder. Let's talk about the bladder. It sits just in front of the sigmoid colon. It's the last 6 inches of your large intestine. The tissues of the bladder have been under attack physically and chemically for quite some time now. The kidneys are taking on the toxic waste that has entered the body from the fecal debris that stuck to the inner walls of the large intestine. Constipation is the root of all bladder infections. The same toxic situation is true for the prostate, ovaries, and uterus that reside in the same neighborhood as the bladder. It's no coincidence that there is a high incidence of fibroids and cancer in the pelvic area. Go figure. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure that one out, because the pelvis is like a valley. And when you're absorbing all this toxic waste, it goes downhill and gets caught in the cup of the body, which is the pelvis. Listen, increased toxicity equals increased acidity, which equals tissue inflammation, which leads to internal scar tissue formation, resulting in decreased circulation and increased stagnation. Hello, cellular mutation. This domino effect results in fibroid and tumor formation. Welcome to an inflammation nation. How many people do you know find themselves going to the washroom 2, 3, or even 4 times a night? This toxic waste that has come from the large intestine is now forced into the kidneys and will irritate and inflame any tissue it encounters. Remember, it's an acid trip, which will cause issues in all the tissues. This toxic sediment is not only irritating the bladder, but it's also irritating the neighbors. Those neighbors being the prostate, ovaries, and uterus. This toxic waste is now settling and building up on the bottom of the sac-like organ known as your bladder. The bladder tissues become inflamed and irritated due to this toxic waste buildup. The bladder becomes hypersensitive, contracting into spasm to protect the inflamed tissue from stretching. Due to this situation, the bladder can now only hold a small amount of urine before pain and spasms occur. This toxic waste will continue to irritate, inflame, degenerate the bladder tissue, causing internal scar tissue crystallization and calcification to form. This condition will continue unless the cause is uncovered. This being, the master of the body awakens the large intestine from its coma. So now you understand the mystery of why you must urinate so often. What most call a mystery, I call ignorance, because take action knowledge of how to master your body is being withheld from you on purpose. It has a purpose. It's called money. So let's get back to our story. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's the 3rd time you feel pressure in your bladder. So it's out of bed and off to the bathroom again. Relief is only seconds away. Finally, you get to the toilet. But what's this? Only a few drops come out. You've got urination constipation. You must understand this. Take a look at the people in your life that have serious health conditions. You'll know when their life is being threatened, otherwise coming to an end, because the ability to go number one and number two cannot be done. We either eliminate or become eliminated. Let's get back to our story. Remember, your bladder is hypersensitive from the inflammation and the lack of elasticity due to the internal scar tissue formation. Many people now have to wear Depends because of the constant drip, drip, drip. With every new disorder, corporations fill another order, don't they? The valve that holds the urine back has been infected and inflamed for so long that the tissue has become weakened and unable to close the valve properly due to the hardened internal scar tissue, just like the bladder. Maybe you recall I said that scar tissue spreads like a weed if not dealt with. Just as a steel valve will rust, scar tissue and crystallization will make a valve made from tissue sticky and unable to open or close properly. How will we ever rest and repair with all this interrupted sleep? For every ill, there's a new pill. These companies are counting on you to never take control or have control. That's right. They've got you believing there's nothing you can do for yourself, so you better pick up some more of those big boy diapers. But now you have a choice. Depends or daily cleanse by mastering the perfect day for the perfect life. As I stated earlier, your body talks to you continually, whether you've been taught to listen or not. So stop, look, and listen, and learn to feel what it's really telling you. Unless you answer the call of nature, you will have more than a broken heart. You will have a broken bowel. Your body talks to you continually, as I stated, whether you are listening or not. A negative emotion or pain is your body's way of telling you that you are not in alignment with your health or your higher purpose. Ignore this loving communication or try to suppress it with drugs, and you will pay more than just financially. Your body will warn you until all health breaks loose. First, a sluggish, toxic bowel, then the blood, liver, kidneys, bladder, prostate, uterus, ovaries, and soon your lymphatic system will become toxic and put you in a life-threatening situation if you're not in one already. These symptoms all come into effect because you've never been taught to understand what your body is trying to tell you. It's called body talk, and it is the most important communication you will ever have. Pain and odor are your major signals from your body crying out for your help because you have been spoiled rotten. You are spoiled rotten. Until you master the mind, you will never master your body. You hold the power to create or destroy. Choose wisely, Braveheart. Ignoring or shutting down these symptoms, otherwise warning signs, does not make for a good relationship. Just as when couples do not communicate, they suffer and create pain in their relationship. If harmony is not reached, divorce may be the only outcome. If you have not learned how your body communicates with you, or you continue to ignore your body, then pain, premature aging, disease, and maybe even premature death may be the final chapter in this love story called the domino effect of unconscious living. When an emotional issue is not dealt with, it will become an issue within the tissues of your body. It would be wise to have a heart-to-heart talk with your body and learn to listen. It's not just your body, it's your buddy for life. So here we go again. The gut-brain connection is still shut down, so there's still no communication happening between you and your body. The first logical and most basic step has not been taken, potty training 101. And the second but most important step is erasing and replacing toxic beliefs. So now the kidneys can no longer take on this extra burden of toxic waste. They have reached their maximum threshold. They're overworked and starting to break down. And now your bladder is in a tatter. Your skin is known as the third kidney. So it's next in line to carry this acid torch for the colon. Signs of this may include premature aging, wrinkles, age spots, dry skin, itchy skin, dry patchy skin, eczema, psoriasis, boils, abscess, acne, and even skin cancer. So, what emotional blocks have gotten under your skin that you haven't dealt with? Understand this. If personal action is not taken to awaken the large intestine and get the cork out, then the lymph system is next in line to break down from the domino effect of unconscious living. By the time the full force of this domino effect of the colon, liver, kidneys, bladder, and skin reaches the lymph system, it will be under full attack. But understand, the lymph system has been backing up on itself since the beginning of the domino effect when the large intestine started to go into a coma. The lymph system has not been able to dump its toxic load into the large intestine due to the large intestine's walls being clogged with mucus, waste, and scar tissue for years now. So how's that gut-brain communication, constipation, breakdown working for you? The lymph system is a major part of your immune system. Welcome to the puffball generation, when we begin to look and feel bloated. When the body reaches a state of toxic, acidic overload as such, it will retain excess water, causing the body to gain excess weight. This is a built-in safety mechanism because all your detox organs are now on strike. So why is the body retaining water? Well, it retains water to dilute the toxins, hoping to put off the inevitable internal scar tissue formation, crystallization, calcification, cellular mutation, disease, and even organ failure. There will also be a sharp rise in fat cell production to keep the body safe from this increasing toxic overload. No one suffers this long and this much through choice. Your beliefs make and shape you, but are they truly your beliefs? We suffer because of unconscious living, not because of conscious living. What are some of the symptoms we experience with a toxic lymph system? The symptoms of a toxic lymph system are a sudden increase in weight, hard to keep off weight, a puffy face. How about puffy feet? How about swelling of lymph nodes? How about ovary, uterus, and prostate inflammation? How about breast swelling and inflammation and calcium deposits? How about foul-smelling armpits and or groin region smelling? How about profuse sweating or never sweating due to total lymph system blockage? Check your armpits. If you feel a fatty deposit under the armpit, it is a chronic lymph congestion problem, right? So understand, this chronic lymph congestion problem that feels like fat in your armpit can actually lead to breast disorders and even cancer. Toxic waste overflow to breast tissue from the lymph nodes creates swelling, tenderness, pain, cysts, fibroids, and tumors. End of story. 25% of women will experience breast cancer, and here lies a major part of the answer: unconscious living through misinformation. Look, as I stated earlier, you can run for it and jump for it, but until you go for it and become the master of your body, you'll be in for it, and it won't be a good time. So understand, lymph congestion causes water retention, which leads to swelling of face, hands, feet, legs, abdomen. Also dry skin, skin disorders, achy joints, achy muscles, cellulite, which is fat cells that are highly toxic. And what about a weakened immune system? Because guess what? Your lymph system is a major part of your immune system. Look at the body will always choose water retention and fat cell production first and foremost to store the toxic burden of waste and negative emotions that cannot be processed or eliminated due to dysfunctional beliefs or a dysfunctional large intestine that is laying there in coma. Look, this life-saving process of fat production is to keep the toxic waste and toxic beliefs as far away from your bones and vital organs as possible until we learn to master our mind, until we learn that we must awaken the unseen healer from within. And since your breasts are composed of mainly fatty tissue, they are ready-made storage tanks for toxins, aren't they? Breasts are toxic magnets. When the body is unable to keep up with the fat production due to the overload of toxins. I want to repeat this one more time for you. Breasts are toxic magnets when the body is unable to keep up with fat production due to the overload of toxins. And what else? Well, when you get fatigued, when you're tired all the time, you don't have the ability to make fat cells. So guess what? There's 2 storage tanks upstairs. We'll just use those. Understand, when the lymph system becomes blocked, your body will retain water. When this happens, the impulse for most people and doctors is to reduce or stop drinking water. What a mistake. This will only add fuel to the fire, creating more of a toxic burden, which creates inflammation, internal scar tissue formation, calcification, and mutation. Now would be the time to introduce plenty of structured water, to hydrate, and daily cleansing tea to get the cork out and awaken the large intestine from its coma. Because this is the first and foremost step. You know when you have become a human elevator when you eat or drink something and swell up like a balloon. At this point, not only your size, but also your weight and emotions will fluctuate on a continual basis. At this stage in the domino effect, the only thing that's still working properly is the elevator of weight and emotions that are going up and down on a continual basis. This morning, your belt is on the 4th notch, and by tonight, it's only on the 2nd. Today, you can take your rings off. Tomorrow, you cannot. This morning, your shoes fit, but by tonight, they're way too tight. When you're tired, these elevator symptoms will magnify, and they will become even worse. Look, you go on a weight loss program and lose 10 pounds in the first 10 days, but by the following week, a couple of pounds are gained back. This happens because you have not opened the door to proper, gentle, daily cleansing, a whole plant-based nutritional diet, structured water. But the most important step is to erase and replace dysfunctional beliefs that support an unhealthy lifestyle. And to do this, we must embrace the Braveheart 12 self-loving steps. Check it out, and check it out in my library. All right, so these toxins that are not being eliminated efficiently must now be diluted by your body by retaining excess water. This extra water retention will give a false weight gain, but understand, it was necessary to protect your vital tissues, bones, and organs. This is a built-in safety mechanism to shield and reduce the damage until you flush your body of these toxic pounds of inflammation and restore the laws of nature. If you get tired of this ride, push L for lighten the load and get off this emotional elevator, which is the domino effect of unconscious living. So now, the domino effect of unconscious living has gone full circle. All the major detoxification organs are up in arms. Well, one of them still remains in a coma. That would be your large intestine. First, the bloodstream took on this toxic burden from the large intestine. Then it was passed on to the liver, then the kidneys, then your bladder, your skin, and then your lymph. The body has more built-in safety mechanisms than one can even imagine. But when the master is asleep at the wheel, all health can break apart. In a last attempt to save the day, the brain calls an emergency meeting with all the organs showing up except for one, the large intestine, which I know you know, it's still in a state of coma. They all agree that the large intestine has become a breeding ground for toxic chemicals, parasites, viruses, bad bacteria, fungus, and toxic beliefs that are poisoning the rest of the body. A consensus is reached to temporarily help remove the burden of toxic overload on the other organs caused by the mother of all organs. That's right, your large intestine. The first step is whatever water that can be taken from the organs and the body tissues without causing severe dehydration must be sent down to the large intestine to loosen up this toxic logjam. Massive action needs to be taken in order to flush out some of the encrusted fecal waste, which has caused this life-threatening domino effect to take place in the first place. The second step is to create a fever to burn up negative microbes within the body and maybe even kick in some vomiting for extra measure. All for one and one for all until the master heeds the call. So guess what? Now you have diarrhea. Why diarrhea? Well, almost all cases of diarrhea are caused by chronic constipation or holding on to toxic beliefs that make you sick to your stomach. Constipation does not mean you do not go to the washroom. It means that the waste from the large intestine is not being eliminated properly. There are people who go to the washroom 3 times a day, but they still have colon cancer. Also, not everyone will have diarrhea at this point. They are the unlucky ones. They are unlucky because diarrhea is a safety valve, and without it, you run the risk of heart attack, stroke, or other life-threatening conditions such as cancer. I know diarrhea is an inconvenience, but don't we all feel much better on an emotional and physical level when the cause of the problem has temporarily been reduced in hopes of buying time until the master of this beautiful body takes back their power to heal on all levels? Well, now we're pooped out, but relieved. Even though we feel tired, your body can finally start to rest, restore, and regenerate itself with some of this toxic overload eliminated. Your large intestine is now eliminating loose stool. This will continue until the chemical and physical pressure is removed from the other organs. This domino effect will keep repeating itself stronger and longer each time until you have learned the importance of gentle daily cleansing, whole plant-based nutrition, structured water, but most important of all, the erasing and replacing of dysfunctional beliefs that created this domino effect of unconscious living in the first place. Understand, where the mind goes, the body must follow. Your thoughts make and shape you. How's your shape doing? Remember, you are the greatest healing machine ever created. So prepare for greatness. Learn how to create the perfect day every day. It's your God-given right. Doctors are trained to only treat symptoms. Until you are willing to unleash and awaken the unseen practitioner from within, all the complaining and explaining will fall on deaf ears. I hear you. I feel you. Never ever give up on you, though. Believe in yourself and have faith in your ability to totally cure yourself. Love is the answer, but self-love is the cure. For without total self-love, there cannot be total self-care. We've given the medical system and all the other systems and corporations over 100 years to prove themselves. And since that time, we have seen the human race drastically decline in health to the point that before the American Medical Association came into existence, cancer, diabetes, and heart disease were virtually unheard of. The medical system is now the #1 leading cause of death in North America. How many more of your family members need to become a statistic before you are ready to awaken the practitioner from within? If you wish not to become a statistic, then learn the rules of this fun-filled, life-threatening game called Planet Earth. We are all born healers. It's time to reclaim your God-given universal right to an outstanding life. So you have a choice to go from treatment to treatment, suppress your emotional and physical pain with toxic drugs, or be trained to become the cure that you search for. That would be you, the real you, the authentic you. Over the last 37 years, I've created what I believe to be New World therapies. Not only are these therapies and techniques the most simple and enjoyable to learn, but they are the most powerful. We prove this every day with our guarantee that the first treatment with us will outperform all other therapies. We have couples, families, and caretakers coming to us from all around the world. for our personal treatment and trainings to learn the most powerful anti-aging body work, along with creating the perfect day on an emotional, physical, and nutritional level. We also have world-leading certification programs for those wishing to become New World practitioners in Whole Life Coach certification, Wolfe Deep Tissue certification, and Wolfe Non-Surgical certification. Before I finish, I would just like to say this, that in this life-threatening adventure called Planet Earth, you will either get trained to master your body or you will be mastered and mistreated. Go to itioh.com and discover the practitioner from within. And to stay updated on all the Doc of Detox shows, go to docofdetoxshows.com. Our shows are featured live on Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe below and click on the bell to enable notifications so that you never miss a show again. And at the bottom right of your screen, you can enable closed captions by clicking on the CC button and share this with anyone around the world so that they can watch this show in any language. Thank you for joining me for part 4 of the domino effect of unconscious living. Be sure to check out the rest of our life-saving, life-changing shows on YouTube or at the docofdetoxshow.com. God bless. If you're looking for life-saving and life-changing information, well, you've come to the right place. Don't forget to click and subscribe. Stay connected.